more on how markets are moving this morning, we are joined now by Chris Markowski. He's the host of the Watchdog on Wall Street radio show and president of Markowski Investments. Chris, it's great to have you with us this morning. These jobless claims numbers still a big concern, and bringing the 2-month total now to 36 million Americans who have filed for unemployment benefits. Has the Fed and Congress done enough to help curb these numbers?
I really don't think that there's much that the Fed or Congress can do at this point in time. You've got a complete shutdown all across the country. The only thing that we can hope for is the country to open up. It's just that simple. And we're starting to see signs of it here, there, and everywhere. You guys are reporting on what's going on in Florida, also what's going on in Wisconsin. I think many people around the country are getting to the point in time where it's becoming almost like a badge of honor, some sort of civil disobedience. I've got to get my business open. This is my life's work. There's nothing that the government can do. There's no stimulus package. There's no program out there that's going to make these jobs numbers get better unless we open up.
And Fed Chair Jerome Powell warning yesterday that the U.S. could be in the midst of a prolonged recession, reminding investors and Americans that there's only so much the Fed can do. Is that going to dampen optimism going forward? Is this a blip and a pullback that we see in the market, or do you anticipate that parts of this reality are starting to set in longer term?
Well, I think they've set in. I do think that the Fed stepping in like it has almost put a blanket over the market, saying, hey, listen, we're going to step in and we're not going to allow this thing to completely collapse. And that's why I think the markets have performed as well as they have. Quite frankly, if the Fed wasn't involved, I think the markets would be much, much lower. I think what we really need to focus on is getting out of this and getting animal spirits back. And what that means is we need to get money into the hands of entrepreneurs. We already know many businesses are not coming back. We need to have businesses come and replace them. Got to understand that small businesses, they're the big employer here in this country. They really are. So we've got to get money into the hands of entrepreneurs. That restaurant that may have not be coming back got shut down. We got to get somebody in there to take their place. So that's where I want to see capital going. That's where I think the Fed can be a help. Their Main Street lending program is supposed to start up within the next several days. And I think that could be helpful if entrepreneurs take advantage of it.
What's the difference between this crisis and the financial crisis? We know this one is a lot more sudden, but in terms of the firepower of the Fed and even fiscal stimulus, how is it different this time around?
It's different this time around in the sense is that, if you lost your job before, you could go out and you could go ahead and find a new one, or at least try to look and get one. Nowadays, you're told to stay home. And again, this is completely unique, especially to the American psyche. We're all about overcoming obstacles and achieving goals and that American spirit. So, yeah, the Fed, they can do what they want. They can come in, they can backstop bonds, they could do all of these different things. But it doesn't matter if people are not working and business is not being conducted. Now, we see a lot of people are making the transition. People can work from home and certain businesses can do all right and okay. But like I said, 36 million Americans without a job. Again, it's difficult. I'm losing, I have to get a thesaurus to come up with words to try to get my arms around to describe how bad that is.
Right. And Chris, the concern does seem to be that these people might not get rehired, that we could still see an elevated unemployment rate by the end of this year, even perhaps when we get a vaccine, and the long-term issues that causes for the economy, something on investors' radar. I do want to get the input here from Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin. He was trying to push back against Fed Chair Powell's comments yesterday, and he says that he remains confident in a bounce back later this year. For investors, how much cash should they have sitting on the sidelines right now?
Well, listen, I'm a big dollar cost average guy, and everyone's situation is unique and different. If you're going to need to have access to your capital within a short period of time, and obviously everyone's window is different. I take for a year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, depending upon you're close to retirement. If you're worried about what the market's going to do, that money should be in cash. Long-term investors, if you look at the quality, you're going to be fine. You're going to be okay, and you should continue to dollar cost average and not try to time what's going on. I don't know. God willing, we all hope. Everybody here hopes they come up with some sort of treatment tomorrow, next week, next month, and then the markets will be rip-roaring back, and you'll definitely see a bounce off of something like that, which is impossible to time. But obviously, you got to understand your own risk tolerance.
Is the market fairly priced here, or do you anticipate a move to the up or the downside?
I think certain things might be getting a little bit long in the tooth. I mean, tech stocks, obviously, they're doing well because they're staying in business. But again, they might be getting up to a little bit of a higher valuation. I'm always looking for value stuff that's on sale. And there are some things that have come down that look good down at some of these lower levels that we're taking a look at and looking to nibble at here and there. But overall, I think the market's priced pretty well.
Okay, quickly, do we retest the lows or not?
I think something really horrible has to happen if we retest the lows. I don't know, maybe another virus that'll come out because, again, the Fed has stepped in and they've done so much. And there's so much liquidity that is just pumped into the system. That's just, again, a lot of cash just sitting on the sidelines right now. And the Fed hasn't even used it all yet. So I think that's going to be a difficult thing to do. But time in the markets has always been an exercise in futility. You always have to be looking 5-10 years down the road.
Okay, Chris Markowski, host of the Watchdog on Wall Street radio show and president of Markowski Investments. Thank you.